Welcome to Fusion 5 Radio with your host, Fusion 5 CEO, Rainee Busby. Well, right now, I would like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grand audience. You like this introduction?
Yeah,
I know.
Piece of work right there.
Right now, we have Rainee Busby is going to be sharing her knowledge when it comes down to business, and we're going to be talking about productive meetings, discipline, structure, and consistency, and all kinds of neat things. Here is Rainee Busby.
Okay, thank you, Mark. All right, so let me get you all up to date on meetings. There's one of my favorite authors, Patrick Lencioni, who has written many business books, and his writing style is using fables. And he has a book called Death by Meetings. So as you can imagine, this is a very consistent challenge with companies. So I'm going to start out talking to you about what are some of the typical challenges that we see. First of all, very seldom do we see a good structured agenda, right? Or there's really no agenda at all. And then also we see inconsistency. So, in our frequency that we have the meetings, we either have them, every other week, we might go 3 weeks, but I know companies that don't have meetings at all. And I'm sitting here going, how can you lead a team without having meetings? But they manage somehow, and that's obviously why I'm working with them, because they have some challenges. Another one is discussing issues. So we discuss issues and discuss, and we never get anything solved. Sometimes what we also have in a meeting is there's one or two people that tend to take over the conversation, right? They always have to be heard on every single subject, and they have a tendency to cause other people not to participate. So you see people kind of sit back. I watch for that when I'm facilitating meetings. No clear action items, right? So when we have our meetings, we list out a whole bunch of action items. So many companies just don't really track, well, who said they were going to do what and by when? So that we know by the next meeting we should be expecting an update as to how that item was accomplished. No targeted activities that are going to help us to achieve our goals and plans, right? We create our strategy and nobody can really get us to where we need to be. Maybe we have the wrong people in the meeting. Some people may be missing. Some people are involved that really shouldn't be participating. If they're wasting time in a meeting, that's lost productivity. So that's lost money for the business. They don't really look at metrics or scorecards. Scorecards are really data that helps us show that we're staying on track and we're moving in the right direction. A lot of distractions, right? Interruptions. When I have training sessions with my clients, I like to take them off-site because lo and behold, you always have a knock on the door or somebody has to check their phone or whatever. And so I think that's another big piece is electronics. Electronics need to be put away during meetings. So that's kind of some of the high level topics when I say meetings are challenged in most cases. And then I have to answer the question, why do we need productive meetings? And I know we talked a little bit about this already, but it helps keep everybody aligned and in sync where we're going and then how they contribute to that. In all companies, well, most companies, don't say all, most companies should have some sort of a strategy, whether it's written or in someone's head, usually the owner, the entrepreneur. But having these meetings supports the strategy execution, and that's one of the most difficult parts of a business is executing on that strategy, and not very many do a good job at that either. It helps us raise that level of accountability. So at the last meeting, if they said, I'm going to complete this task, and then we get to the point where we come back to the meeting, everybody's looking around the table, and they're going through, did you get your stuff done? Did you get your stuff done? You don't want to be the one sitting there saying, no, I didn't get my stuff done. That's bad, right? So then your peers are going to be looking at you like, really? Because they have a goal to accomplish at least 90% of all those things to do. It helps us to keep those goals and plans kind of front and center. So it helps us maintain that sense of urgency, which is going to be key to being able to execute as well. When we get into the decision-making part of it, I said before, a lot of times we discuss. Well, this helps us to be sure that we make decisions in a structured format and that the right people are involved. Many times the decisions are made and we've got some critical players that aren't in the room to even hear about what's going on. And overall, it's just building a strong team, building that synergy so we can break down silos, which is where people have a tendency to kind of get off on their own island and not really pay much attention to others. So we have a few different types of meetings, and Patrick Lencioni talks about this quite a bit in his book, is that you have different types. I say probably the top 4 is a flash meeting, is what I call it. He may call it something different, but it's really a quick 5-minute meeting in the morning, stand up only, do a quick run around. What are the hot topics? We got any fires we need to put out? Is anybody, looking at, or they're not going to be in today? Do we have any client issues? Then we have weekly meetings, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit about. And then we have quarterly meetings, which is once a quarter we should get together and say, how did we do last quarter? What are we planning for next quarter? And then an annual meeting, offsite, couple days, get out there, think about what's our plan going to be for next year? How did we do last year? And really keep that cycle moving. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of what we consider a great leadership meeting. This is a weekly meeting. We use this structure in our EOS practice, which is our entrepreneurial operating system. And here's some key highlights. We always hold it on the same day of the week. It always starts at the same time. Don't ever be late. Everybody needs to be early, 5 minutes early. It always ends on the same time. We make sure all key parties are present. So you're not going to be missing this meeting unless you're ill or on vacation. We have a living, breathing agenda. So we start off with what's the good news, what's personal and business good news. Then we go through and run through our scorecard metrics, make sure everybody's on track. If you're not on track, we run it over there to the issues list. We go through our rock review, which is basically what we're going to accomplish in the next 90 days. So everybody has their rocks they're working on. Make sure everybody's on track with that. We talk about any potential customer or employee highlights that may be going on that everybody needs to know about. Maybe we won a big deal or a contract with somebody, and that's something we want to celebrate. We track that to-do list I mentioned a little bit earlier. These are things that that we had on our list from the last meeting that we're going to rebuild the list for this meeting. So we want to accomplish the 90% from the last time. We're going to build that list, and we're going to have everybody's going to have action items when they leave. As I said, that's a good part of your execution. And then we're going to work through the issues list, and that's a big bulk of the meeting. How do we know if it's really an issue or a symptom? How do we discuss it so everybody has an opportunity to provide input and then come up with the solutions, which could be on our to-do list or it could be creating new rocks. And then finally, we conclude our meeting. So we do a quick walkthrough on our to-do list, make sure everybody's clear what we talked about. We check with the team, say, hey, is there any messages we need to send out to the workforce saying, maybe excited to talk about that, basically the kind of big contract that we just won. And then we're going to rate the meeting. So rate the meeting's effectiveness and value so the team can say, hey, that was a 9 today. On a scale of 1 to 10, we had a great meeting. So that's kind of it for meetings. It can be in business, PTA, home, whatever. Take advantage of it. Helps to have consistency and structure, discipline, drives accountability. And that's always a good thing.
You're absolutely right. I know that efficiency saves the money, quality of service or product, work well with others. There's so many different things, and we're going to cover that on the next program, aren't we?
We're going to cover
a little bit more stuff. I mean,
more fun
you got so much stuff to share. It's unbelievable. I tell you, every time I see you, go
very long to share.
Yeah, that's right. It's only 30 minutes, dear. So what can you say? But you know what, though? That's an idea. If you'd like to hear more from Rainee, why don't you contact her? She'd be happy to come out to your luncheon or to your business or to your church. Absolutely. And share even more with you because she has so much to share with you. And I know that God will bless you because, this lady, she has helped so many people. And right now she's helping out a nonprofit organization to get back on their feet.
Yes.
Amazing story, and we'll share that at another time. But unfortunately, it's getting that time, Rainee.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We appreciate having you as our audience. And please, as Mark said, send your feedback. We love to hear from you.
Be blessed. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Hello, friends. If you're enjoying our program, Fusion 5 Radio with Rainee Busby, let us know by going to fusion5radio.com and emailing us. Rainee wants to encourage you to write to her with any questions or comments that you may have. That web address again is fusion5radio.com. Fusion5radio.com. Rainee wants to help you be more productive in business and ministry by sharing with you each week how to get your life back through simple, practical steps. Fusion5radio.com. Write to us. Join us next week. Be blessed.